Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be talking more about 28 days later, but today we're going to be talking about 28 weeks later. Now, I know a lot of people, again, like I said in the previous review for 28 days, have a lot of mixed feelings on this franchise, and I can see why. And the reason why is not only because of the characters, some of the decisions, some of the other things that went on. Now, I will say it's interesting on who they got to play these different characters. So, again, we got Jeremy Renner playing as Sergeant Doyle. We got Robert Calley as Dawn, which, again, very familiar with his work being on Once Upon a Time. And then Rose Byrne as Scarlett. We also got Emilia Poots as Tammy. And then Harold Perrineau as Flynn. So, again, this is beginning still where Don, he is living with his wife as well as these other random survivors. They get attacked by the infected after his wife allows a child to get into the house, and he was followed by the infected, and Don has to consider himself for survival. And the American military go in after 28 weeks later. There's supposedly no infected left, and when they do, they only open up they only open up Britain after everything. They don't go to like Manchester or Cambridge or any of these other places that we know of, and they're only doing very little maintenance to make sure that they are, safe. So we see Don's children come in, Tammy and Andy come in, and what's crazy is they're trying to figure out what happened to their mother. He informs them what happened to their mother, that he tried to save her, but unfortunately they were attacked. He didn't tell them the whole story, again, because he assumed that she was dead. Well, they are wanting to have memories, and they decide to go out on their own into the outside zone to be able to try to go to their house, get some pictures, get whatever they want, and they see their mother. Their mother is alive. Somehow or other, she survived the attack. She was bitten. She was still infected, but she did not fully turn. So they were trying to figure out exactly how she did not fully turn. Now, when it gets revealed that she is alive, we see where Don's kids gets very angry with him, to where, I want to see her. You lied. You did this. You did that. And with him helping to build the establishment, he was somehow able to get into the security area and the containment area, which, again, there already are problems with this, and I'll get into later on the issues I have with this film. And the one Scarlett, who is a major and also a scientist who's been trying to figure out a way to stop the virus, she is worried on the fact of, are we going to be able to save this woman? And Idris Elba plays as the general that's in here as well, and he orders to take her out. And then as soon as that happens, you see where Don's having a conversation with his wife. He gives her a kiss of death, is pretty much what everyone's been saying, and he becomes the first newly infected, spreading the infection throughout the base. And then everything goes crazy. The military don't have a plan. Then they do have a plan, and the plan fails. Then they try to go ahead and just kill everyone off. And then as soon as that happens, we see where Doyle takes it upon himself to protect these individuals, between Scarlett, between Tam and Andy, and try to save them and get them to the evac point, and still having issues between infected and soldiers just going crazy or just, following orders, and then bombing the city, poisoning the city, so that way they can contain the threat. Now, they don't get very far. The only ones I'm going to say that right now survives is Tammy and Andy, to our knowledge, with Flynn, who's flying the helicopter in the film. Doyle risks himself to save them with the poison gas, gets burned. Scarlett somehow dies at the hand of Dawn, even though they go in a dark tunnel, which was stupid, and using a rifle that had night vision were the only thing they could be able to be used, which again was crazy. So he dies, or she dies. Then Andy and Tammy, they see their father. Their father's still infected. He bites Andy, and somehow, we don't know if Andy does get turned or not, because he may be the only thing for a possible cure due to, him being his mother's son. So Andy and Tammy, they go to the evac point. Flynn is there. He doesn't check them to see if they're bit. Gets them out of there, leaves England, and all we see is the helicopter messed up. Possibly the kid turned. Don't know. Then we see Paris getting invaded at the very end of the film. And that's the last time we see this film. I can see why people had issues with this film. My first thing was, okay, why did you not? First off, you're bringing in people too early. Second, this was a major virus that took out technically a whole country within 28 days, and you did not check the other areas. Oh, they're cleared, but we have a heavy military function in a safe zone. You didn't check it. You could have confined her if you did find Don's wife, which you didn't. You didn't have soldiers or someone standing at guard for a containment zone. You didn't revoke his access. And you didn't have the kids quarantine more either. That was the wrong thing to do. Also, having Doyle do what he did it made sense to a certain degree, but again, a lot of people will be saying, oh, well, morality and ethics and all this stuff. I'm sorry, man, but again, Don leaving his wife, I think that was the right decision, because again, he would have died. He would have died. Because again, leaving your loved one knowing they're going to die, that is a rough thing to do. But at the same time, she went for a child that was not hers to try to protect. And he kept telling her, he's gone, and she wouldn't listen. And so he blamed himself for what happened, because he's like, okay, could I have done anything? No, he couldn't have. He didn't have no weapons. He used a crowbar to handle the rest of the ones that he could downstairs. And there was only so much he could do. And the wife was more concerned about a child that she did not know nothing about, which again, he could have been infected and we didn't know. So that was another thing. Then Scarlett taking upon herself worrying about these kids that they could have been infected. They could get infected. The Andy, I just wanted to go through the TV and yell at this kid, man, because he never listened. He never fucking listened. That's what made me pissed off. It's like, bro, he runs into a sniper's covering fire, which an adult couldn't even do. That was strike one. Or, not holding on to Scarlett and his sister like he could. Oh, well, they were in, a crowd of people. Again, I know it happens, but still. Or, seeing his mom. It's like, dude, y'all should never went there to begin with. And that was part of the military's fault as well. And at the same time, the military did not have a good plan. Oh, let's crunch everybody together, and it's going to be a fill for all day when the infected gets in there. It's like, what were you thinking? What exactly were you thinking? You could have had everyone in their rooms, lock it down, leave the window open at least, so that way snipers could take them out if infected did get in there. But again, you didn't do it. So that was another thing. You didn't even have Flynn check these kids to see if they were infected. Because how do we know that, again, possibly Andy did turn? But we don't know. And then another thing that I noticed was, again, you're going down in a deep area where you could just die from being in, the infection. That's just hordes. And then when Tammy's trying to, see her brother, he just runs off again. He just keeps running off throughout the entirety of the movie. And then it's like he falls and he carries everybody behind. It's like, dude, some of the stuff in here, it's like, I can understand everybody's wanting to go by, your moral standards of, save children, do this, do that. But it's like, come on, man. It was so, you wanted to yell at the screen and go, are you kidding me? Because it made no sense on certain things. And also how Don was able to find his kids while being infected in the middle of nowhere. That's what made no sense to me. It's like, how are you able to find your children? Just you. No one else. No other freaking infected. At the very end. That made no sense at all. And I can see again why people had issues with this film. Again, is it a good film? Debatable. Is it a bad film? Debatable. It's kind of in the middle for me. I enjoyed myself. I just did not like how they did the story or some of the characters, or not using common sense. Again, there's so much, that's what I've been saying in a lot of horror movies, is there's very lack of common sense. And that's what we need more of, is common sense, not only in the world, but in the world of movies. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like on the video, and I'll see you as always on the next one.